The cafe door slammed shut and a skinny boy stood outside, maybe 10 years old, shivering with an empty stomach. He pressed his little face against the glass, eyes glued to plates of bread and steaming bowls of soup. His voice was small, shaky, but desperate. "Please, just some leftovers. I haven't eaten in 2 days." The waiter didn't even flinch. He smirked and waved the boy away like trash. "Get lost, kid. We don't feed beggars here." The sound of laughter rose from the tables inside. People sipping coffee, full and warm, laughing at the sight of a hungry child. Someone even joked, maybe he should wash dishes if he's hungry. The boy lowered his head, his stomach growling so loud he thought everyone could hear it. But his eyes didn't break. He wasn't just hungry, he was hurt. He was humiliated. Inside that cafe, everything belonged to one man, Mr. Collins. Expensive suit, gold watch, slicked back hair, and a heart colder than winter. To him, poor kids were nothing but pests. And the boy at the door? His name was Daniel. His clothes were torn, his shoes falling apart, his cheeks smudged with dirt. His father had died in an accident. His mother worked nights scrubbing floors, barely earning enough to survive. Daniel could have stolen. A lot of kids in his shoes did, but he didn't. He asked politely, even when people laughed in his face. That day, Daniel reached toward a plate of half-eaten bread left behind by a customer. His hand shook as it stretched forward, only to be smacked away by the waiter. "Filthy boy, get out before I call the police." The cafe roared with laughter, but Daniel didn't cry. He didn't scream. He looked at that bread one last time, then whispered words so soft only a few heard them. "Someday, I'll never be hungry again, and no child will be turned away." Mr. Collins leaned back in his chair, chuckling like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. "Dreams are free, boy, but food isn't. Remember that." And with that, Daniel walked away, empty stomach, empty hands, but a fire burning in his chest. Years passed. The cafe stayed. Same sign, same smell of coffee, but the world outside kept moving. One afternoon, a sleek black car pulled up. The door opened and a man stepped out. Tailored suit, polished shoes, head high. He walked with calm power, every step steady. The staff inside whispered to each other, "Who is he?" That man was Daniel, now in his 20s. No longer the boy with torn clothes. No longer the one people laughed at. He had built something out of nothing. Every hunger pang, every night of pain had fueled his climb. He walked inside, looked around. The same walls that once trapped his humiliation now stood before him as proof of how far he had come. He walked up to the counter, voice calm. "I'd like to buy this cafe." The room froze. A tray slipped out of a waiter's hand and clattered on the floor. Even Mr. Collins, older now but still clinging to pride, stammered, "What did you say?" Daniel smiled faintly. "I'll pay in full, today." The boy who once begged for scraps was back to own it all. Weeks later, the papers were signed. The deal was done. Mr. Collins, weighed down by debts and mistakes, had no choice but to sell. Daniel was the new owner. On his first day, he gathered the staff. Nervous eyes watched him, wondering what kind of man he would be. Daniel spoke slowly, his voice carrying the weight of memory. "Years ago, I came here as a hungry boy. I asked only for leftovers, and I was laughed at." Some of the older staff looked down, realizing. Daniel let the silence linger before saying, softer, "I didn't buy this place for revenge. I bought it to change it. From this day on, no child, no hungry soul, no one in need will ever be turned away again." A waitress raised her hand, hesitant. "But sir, won't that hurt the business?" Daniel smiled. "I was given nothing, yet I built everything. Believe me, kindness is the best investment you can ever make." That night, after closing, Daniel walked alone between the tables. His hand brushed against the wood. His mind drifted back to his mother, coming home late with cracked hands and tired eyes, whispering through her exhaustion, "Don't give up, Daniel. You're stronger than this world." A tear slid down his cheek. "This cafe isn't just mine," he whispered. "It's for her, and for every child who's ever been hungry like I was." Word spread quickly. The cafe became known as a place of kindness. Homeless men came in and were given soup. Children walked in with empty hands and left with sandwiches. And paying customers? They came in greater numbers, proud to support a place with so much heart. One evening, as Daniel wiped down a table, the door opened slowly. An old man walked in, bent over a cane, his clothes worn, his face lined with regret. Daniel froze. It was Mr. Collins, the man who once mocked him, now frail, now broken. His voice shook. I have nothing left. I can't even afford dinner." The cafe fell silent. Everyone waited. This was Daniel's chance for revenge. He could turn him away the same way he once was. Daniel stood still, his eyes on the man who had once laughed at his hunger. Then he spoke. "Bring him a meal, the best one we have." Mr. Collins's lips trembled. Tears welled in his eyes. "You, after everything I did, why would you help me?" Daniel stepped closer, resting a hand gently on the old man's shoulder. His voice was soft, steady. "Because I know what it feels like to be hungry, and because kindness is stronger than pride." That night, as the cafe glowed against the dark street, Daniel's words stayed with everyone who heard them. Never underestimate the boy you laugh at today, because tomorrow he may be the man who feeds you.